Welcome to the 5G podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversation about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode. Are we filming?
We are live.
We're rolling.
Rolling.
Run back. Do it live.
There are some podcasts. We could anyway.
Yeah.
Some podcasts they will do live tours of the podcast, which is I just feel like wouldn't want to do that.
Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of a different beast. Whole point of doing something live is you're interacting with the people watching. It's distinctly different than a podcast.
Yeah,
it's a streamer thing.
But a lot of podcasts do it.
Huh.
I don't get it.
I've seen some podcasts with live chat, but
I've seen that
interact. Maybe on occasion they'll go hey, and we'll take some questions from the chat.
Yeah, I've seen that,
but not full on interacting or hey guys, what do you think?
Yeah,
streamer things.
Anyway, I saw I was watching an Asmongold video yesterday, and he was actually reacting to YouTube's new gun restrictions.
Oh yeah,
which are just crazy.
No pictures of guns.
Well, it's the way they framed it is so loopholey.
Oh,
and there's been a bunch of videos, I don't know, 10,
sure,
from very, very popular gun YouTubers people who are making videos blatantly exposing these loopholes and the ridiculousness, right?
What is the intent of the new law? Is it or new rule? It's not a law.
Prevent gun education.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because gun bad.
I didn't know if it was we can't show guns.
No, so
guns on child restricted videos or something.
So they've over 18 plus every gun channel.
Yeah, all right.
Everyone's up. So
again, gun education.
I don't know if I have a strong opinion about that one either way. Mm-hmm. I see where they're coming from.
Totally.
Because you're not allowed to buy a gun until you're 18.
Yeah.
And if you are in a family that has guns, you should already have learned gun safety.
True.
Prior to 18. If you are 18, you want to go buy a gun, there are now resources for you to go look at online, and YouTube is not restricting those. So it's
I guess,
it's man, I don't like that they're doing it, but at the same time, it's it's reasonable. That one, right? Mm-hmm. There are other ones where it's you can't show they call them high capacity magazines, but they make that as standard magazines.
Vague as possible, yeah.
No fully automatic. You can't show fully automatic fire.
I mean,
so there's a bunch of different random. You can't show installation of parts and stuff like that.
Really,
which is weird. Anyway,
I feel that'd be the tutorials that.
Yeah, exactly.
Harmless.
Especially if you are a first time owner of a certain type of gun, right?
You want to know, oh, hey, I need to take it apart to clean it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are channels that are dedicated to, this is this gun. This is how you take it apart. This is the best procedure for cleaning.
Yeah.
That is the channel.
That's a YouTube tutorial on anything. That's harmless.
Yep.
Hey guys, here's my hair and makeup tutorial. It's the same thing.
Yep. Exactly. But so there's a bunch of YouTubers that are going right up to the line of okay, is this allowed or not? Mm-hmm. And so there's one, he's the biggest YouTuber, or one of the biggest gun YouTubers. I don't know if he's the biggest one. I think he is. He's 11 or 12 million subscribers.
Demolition Range?
Yeah. He showed, he has an AK that's full auto, and he's firing it, but they put a black box over the gun while he was firing it.
Just over the whole gun?
Censored the gun.
Okay.
A sensor bar over the gun while he's firing it in full auto. You can hear it. You can see the muzzle flash. It's funny. Just over the gun, there's a black box. And then as soon as he stops firing, black box is gone. And it's is this okay? Another aspect is if it's in a work of art or fiction or cinema, there's basically no restrictions at that point, right?
Right.
And so literally what he did is he wrote on a paper a script and put a filter over it, so it was like a sepia brown filter, so it looked like whatever. And then was just shooting the gun however he wanted.
Oh man!
And they had a script, and they were like saying lines back and forth. Him and his camera dude were saying these lines back and forth, and he pulled out a piece of paper live, or not live, but without edits, right, without cutting, and showed the transcript of like what was said in the. And so he's like,
it's a movie.
And so he's like, if this works, I'm gonna just script all of my showcase. And then he had credits at the end.
Yeah, that's a work of art.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, some like YouTubers' content is better than like movies. So
many YouTubers' content is better than movies.
Yeah. So and that obviously was allowed because you saw it. So or at least YouTube hadn't taken it down.
Well, but yeah, I don't know what the resolution was on it, and I don't know. Yeah. He made the video to like basically say like, "Hey, YouTube rep, like, what am I supposed to do here?"
I'm sure somebody just made the decision like in a boardroom meeting, and then they're like, "All right, let's just like update the algorithms or whatever." Like nobody paying attention to that. Dumb.
Anyway, I don't know how we got on that topic.
Podcast live tour, and then you said guns. YouTube has new gun rules. They're not. Dude, they're in bed with the lawmakers. All right, that's why I call them laws. YouTube and the government, it's the same thing, or it's just an arm of the government.
Oh, rules. Asmongold. That's why. Because he was reacting to this video anyway.
Yeah.
And I saw his reaction video, and then he was arguing back and forth with some guy in his chat over it.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was arguing that it isn't censorship, and Asmon was like, it is censorship, and banned the guy there live while chatting with him.
Pretty funny.
And he goes, I bet that guy's pissed off now. But guess what? That was censorship. But according to the guy he was chatting with own definition, it wasn't technically censorship. Even though Asmongold pulled up on stream like 4 sources of the definition of censorship from like the ACLU, Webster's Dictionary, Britannica, sites, like very broad, just like it was very very funny.
I've heard that argument before that it's only censorship if it's the government.
It's like you don't understand what censorship is.
Like okay, they are limiting and restricting what you do and say. Like
anyway, I don't know.
That's funny though.
It was a very very funny interaction. Anyway,
speaking of Demolition Ranch, did you see last Saturday?
Yeah,
which was very funny.
That was very funny.
Not funny that happened, but now I have to summarize. President Trump had an assassination attempt on his life last Saturday, which was right after we filmed these. So like we're weeks behind in the news media. He already went to the whole RNC this week. He's already the official presidential candidate. Not fun, but big political news week.
Yeah, lots of politics this week.
But the shooter had on a Demolition Ranch t-shirt.
Yeah, that was funny.
Which I don't think it was necessary, but it was kind of funny that he came out, Demolition Ranch. He's like, I don't know who the guy is. He just bought a shirt off my website. Like, I guess people had been bugging him.
Yeah, a bunch of news outlets apparently.
News outlets were like...
You watched his response video or whatever type of...
It wasn't an apology, but it was just like...
No. It's like, hey,
sorry.
I'm a guy on the internet with 1,000 videos, like
several million subscribers.
I think it's 11, like 11 million. Like,
and that's impressive.
That's in the top 0.1% of YouTube channels, probably top 0.1.
And I don't know him super well, but like from everything I've read and I watched a couple of his videos, he's the most like apolitical, just gun YouTuber.
He's
family friendly, like doesn't even swear, like he just seems to like guns and shows them off.
That's literally like, there are YouTubers where they will get into politics, many of them.
Yeah.
He is the only one where I have never heard a single, not even on, so he has 3 YouTube channels.
Okay.
And he's friends with a bunch of other gun YouTubers because they're all in that area of Texas.
Naturally.
Yeah. And so he goes on their channels all the time. And I watch most of their channels, not all of them, but most of them. He has, even on other people's channels, never says a single thing about politics. Nothing.
Yeah, he's
nothing.
Just there for fun. He has a hobby and a YouTube channel. He's devoted to that. Like,
yep.
That's what I thought was funny. That like he had to come out and be like, "Can you guys like stop like attacking me like because the shooter had my shirt on?" Like,
Well, and he even made a very good point. It's like if he was wearing Nikes, Nike wouldn't be getting this backlash.
Yeah, right.
You know, if he was wearing Adidas,
far right wing extremist Nike sold shoes.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like
what? It doesn't make any sense. So
yeah. It was the reactions online when people saw that he even posted.
Oh, really?
He was like he on his Instagram or something like that. It was he's like, oh no. That was the only thing he said was a picture of the shooter and oh no.
Why did you pick my shirt that day, bro?
Yeah. Well, that was just a whole cluster of a situation. Like, yeah.
I'm sure, again, we're a week late. I'm sure you've seen lots. Several people have probably broken it down better than we could. But,
dude, some of the takes on the internet are crazy.
Yes, they are.
Like, there's a bunch of lefties, and I use that term very derogatorily.
Yeah, because of what they were saying, yeah.
Who are, like, saying, like, oh, too bad he missed, and, like, get good with guns, guys. We got to figure this out. It's like, holy crap. You just, like, were wishing for the death of someone on live TV with a bullet to the brain.
And someone did die behind you.
Yeah.
Like, we're already, like, body's not even cold, and we're already, like, making fun of it.
No, body was, like, still breathing when they were saying,
they're like, oh, man.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then there are other people who, I don't know what political side they're, you know, where they are on the political spectrum, but I would consider myself in the 99th percentile of gun knowledge.
Right.
There are hundreds of other people, thousands of other people who know more than I do.
Sure.
But
more than ever.
I guarantee I know more than 99% of the population when it comes to firearms stuff.
Yeah.
There are people online who are saying, if he had actually been hit by a set or a 5.56 or a 223, whichever, I don't know whichever one, nearly identical.
Very similar.
Especially at that range, nearly identical. His head would have been blown off just from the concussive blast because the news media is always like, you don't need an AR-15 to hunt. Yeah. The deer goes away. The deer vaporizes. Yeah, and some guy online was like, that's why the children in all these shootings have to be identified by DNA samples only. It's like, don't think you understand how bullets work.
No.
Also, yes, it's a bullet used in a military small arm, but like so is 9mm.
Yeah.
And like,
oh,
thank you, Alexa.
Sorry. My AI is listening to us.
Well, they are always are.
Always. Yeah. But
like 9mm. It's a pistol caliber. It's also a military cartridge. You don't hear people saying like 9mm will blow your face off. It's like, yeah, it's gonna, like, any bullet will kill you. I mean, 22 long rifle is one of the statistically most deadly rounds.
Yeah,
you know. I mean, numerically, not because of its effectiveness.
Categorically, I don't know.
Yeah, I get categorically.
Qualitatively, not qualitative. Yeah,
quantitatively, it's the most deadly because it kills the most people. Qualitatively, not because of the actual effect on target.
Sure.
But a lot more 22s are fired than 50s.
Yeah, and 50 like if you're firing at flesh, you don't need the 50 caliber. Like at that point, you reach a point of diminishing returns on the effectiveness against a fleshy target.
Correct. Yes, exactly.
And the 22 is enough. Any bullet is enough.
Yeah. Like you can obviously have more effect that would be more effective, but
like if you're just punching all the way through, then you're punching all the way through.
Yeah. So like a 223 is like more than enough to kill a human, but it's not like a crazy round.
No.
Like most states have actually outlawed the use of 223 to go like deer hunting.
Oh yeah, because it's like
it's not potent enough. Yeah. It's such a it's moving quickly, but like
you need to go up to an actual like a long range hunting rifle. A hunting cartridge
for big game.
Yeah,
and like there are a variety of reasons why the military has chosen an intermediate cartridge for its main infantry rifle for so long.
Yeah.
And the vast majority of those reasons is because the engagements that we've been involved in since World War II have been in jungle, close range areas where
much more short to mid range.
Range doesn't necessarily matter. Ammo capacity wins battle fights.
Yep.
And with 223, you can carry a lot more ammo than you can with 30-06.
And a smaller gun, shorter barrel,
lighter gun.
They're already wearing 50 pounds of body armor. Don't throw on more, steel for the gun and more bullets, heavier bullets. It all adds up. So it kind of.
But there's a bunch of people online who are like, that bullet would have torn his head off, clean off his shoulders. His body would have been disintegrated.
So it was all fake. He stayed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, what the heck is going on? I did think this was very funny to me. The so he survived, obviously. He got taken away. The whole Secret Service thing was just a mess.
And but we're still investigating that.
I'm not a security expert.
Yeah.
I'll claim gun pseudo expert. Not a security expert. I've never done any of that type of thing.
Totally not.
But on the face of it, whoa.
Whoa. Yeah. Have you ever screwed up at your job so bad
that the national media is asking you to resign?
Yeah.
And they're on your side. But after, he had his ear shot, and at the RNC, he had this massive bandage over it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
It was pretty fun.
I understand you wanting to play it up for politics, right?
Right.
But in my opinion, and this is my opinion,
chicks dig scars. He should have just shown it off.
Well, so that would have been sick, right? That would have been dope.
Still bleeding.
But I think what would have been better is if he had tried to downplay it. Personally, right? Okay. I would have liked it better. Instead of seeing this massive, he probably needs to have some sort of bandage on it. He got shot in the ear.
I would assume the doctors, that size bandage was necessary, or maybe, I don't know.
I saw pictures of
I'm not a doctor, but
I am a doctor. No, no. I saw pictures of where he got shot, and it's like a hole in the ear, but his ear didn't get blown off. And so I'm like, if you just put a Band-Aid over it with some gauze or something, instead of covering the entire ear in a wrestling headgear sized piece of
Vincent Van Gogh treatment,
yeah, exactly. It was bigger than the Band-Aid Vincent Van Gogh used. It was massive.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, come on now. I thought it would have been really, really cool of him just to not ignore that it happened and not talk about it at all.
Yeah.
But just Band-Aid with gauze or whatever, just as small as possible for the doctors to feel comfortable. Maybe let the bandage get a little bit bloody so you can see the blood still coming out of it. I don't know. It would have looked more bad if he had, instead of having this freaking female hygiene pad attached to his face.
Yeah, or obviously, doesn't matter what he would have done. Anyone was going to comment on it, but
yeah,
because then it would be oh, it's just a tiny Band-Aid. He set it up. It was fake.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
So
it would have been even better if you just used some electric taping gauze, a real tradesman redneck.
Oh no, I cut my hand in the garage. Only just done.
A lot of the electricians I have known, they just carry around a roll of electric tape all the time, not even on, and just oh, I got a little cut.
Yeah, see, I carry around pipe tape. It's not as good.
No,
it doesn't.
That's the white stuff.
One,
yeah. The Teflon tape.
Yeah.
I mean, that's meant to go in between pipes, not to stick to itself. It's not even sticky.
It's a water seal. So in theory, it would work for your blood.
Did you carry it around at work?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, just in case. I did it at my old job, and I used it enough here at my current job where I'm just gonna have a roll on me all the time.
That's hilarious.
My old job. Why would I stop?
That's funny.
So
I like electric tape. It's very versatile. And more versatile, not more versatile than duct tape, because duct tape is amazing.
Well, yeah.
But more conveniently versatile.
Sure.
Because it's not this big.
It's a smaller roll.
Not the size of a freaking potato. It's the size of a Zin pack or a, yeah. Anyway, yeah, president got assassinated, or there was an attempt at assassination on the
First time a president's been shot in 40 years.
Since Reagan?
Since Reagan, yeah. Pretty interesting.
But you and I were looking up. There's been like a gazillion other attempts on like every other president.
Attempts on basically every president.
That list we were looking at.
The Wikipedia list was so funny. Like, this guy mag dumped at the White House. It was an attempt on President Clinton's life. Like, I mean,
but like Clinton was like in another country,
right? Like, okay. Or the one guy, like, this guy was paid to kill Clinton, I think, and then decided not to.
Yeah.
Okay. So a bad hit, man. It's not really an assassination attempt, Wikipedia, but fine.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Bush had a shoe thrown at him. It was an assassination attempt. It's like,
the shoe was filled with anthrax.
I think that was just a chanclada.
It's like some angry, like, Mexican grandmother. Yeah. Right? Like, the last real assassination attempt, quote unquote real, was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Reagan, so.
Yeah.
Funny stuff. The one I forgot about, we talked about Teddy Roosevelt, right? He was like giving a speech, or he was at a rally. So
yeah.
Trump, and he got shot, got like some first aid, and then like finished his speech. All there. He never got that bullet removed. I went and looked it up this week.
Dude, that's hilarious.
He just like lived with that bullet in his body for the rest of his life. Like, the first aid they did there was just like sufficient.
I think it was in his chest, wasn't it?
Chest, yeah. Never ended up getting that removed. Like,
that's hilarious.
So, like, all right, that's even more badass.
Yeah.
Finish the story.
That's crazy. He installed a boxing ring in the White House too, and would box people.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I heard that was
Teddy Roosevelt. I don't know, like his policies, whatever. Like he was a baddie.
Oh, yeah,
like
totally.
Founded the Rough Riders, which is like, okay.
Yeah.
Became president for 3 terms because he said, "Screw it, it's not a law," even though it was like a precedent, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Started his own political party because his political party was like, "No, we can't have you in office for 3 terms," and he's like, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
Yep. And then he split the vote 1 year. And then a Democrat won that election, and then 4 years later they were like, "All right, we'll take you back." So
yep.
So it was a total power play on his move. Like,
yep.
He set up for the long game.
Uh-huh.
From what I've read of like his family, he was the first like wild child in the White House. Like, so that I'm not surprised. Like installing a boxing ring, like. Because he was like young too, like him, his family, his kids were like running around the White House, just like being little kids, and everyone was like, the establishment was all like, gasp, like this is not proper or whatever. But he's just like a normal guy,
yeah,
an ex-military man, just like with his little kids, just boxing in the White House, doing fun stuff.
Yeah, it's like some presidents have like a basketball court, and there's like a bowling alley.
The bowling alley, yeah.
It's like that's fine, but like. Dude, if I were president, it'd be dope to install like a wrestling room.
Dude, yeah.
Like
all right, this is my workout of choice. Like,
yeah,
well, Mr. President, that's dangerous or whatever.
For you guys.
I got like 12 doctors on hand. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I want to wrestle.
I'm like, oh no, what's going to happen if I like break an arm? I have to wear a cast for 6 weeks?
I'll come out with the biggest cast ever.
The biggest cast possible.
It'll be huge.
I would, if I were president and got a broken arm or broken leg, I would 100% come out with an American flag wrapped cast. It'd be so sick,
right? America,
dude, and have like foreign leaders sign it like you used to in like high school and like junior high. I would 100% do that.
That would actually be very fun.
It's like you're meeting with Putin, you got your little cast on your arm or whatever. He's like, "Hey, sign it."
Gotta collect from all the world leaders.
What? He's like signing your cast. He's like, "Thanks,
silly Americans."
I would 100% do that. That'd be so cool.
That'd be funny, dude. The photo op. Like, yes, we got China, Russia, North Korea,
Xi Jinping, Zelensky, Putin.
Got them all, man.
Got Kim Jong-un right here.
Catch them all.
Kim Jong-un just draws a guy riding a rocket.
Yeah. Man. That'd be pretty good.
I would love that if a president did that.
Yeah, honestly.
The president has broken his arm. Like, okay, who cares?
Whatever.
But like, if the president broke his arm and then had an American flag covered cast and was carrying around like a Milwaukee Sharpie to just like
Yeah.
That's hilarious. A Milwaukee Sharpie is just 2 brand names.
Wait, yeah, it is.
Because Sharpie is like Kleenex. You just call it a Sharpie.
You call it a Sharpie.
Permanent marker.
So
a
Milwaukee,
Milwaukee permanent marker.
Yeah.
Which are like, have you ever used those ones?
Yeah.
They're super nice.
They're big.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But they make like Sharpie sized ones.
Oh, they make
like
normal size?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just got a pack of them at Home Depot. It's like $1 for a 2-pack of them.
Yeah, Home Depot, you can weirdly find like good craft things.
Yeah, for sure.
I find a lot of good stuff there.
For sure.
For like cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got a pack of these Sharpies. I was doing the dog door install.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, just gonna take a pack of those. Anyway.
Yeah.
Way off topic.
We were already off topic anyway, so
way in the weeds.
Off in the weeds. You had a funny meme though.
Oh, I did have a funny meme.
You gotta show me. Because you could go to other YouTube channels, all the breakdown. They're still investigating. I don't have comments on that. But the memes.
The memes are great.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one I have.
All right. D&D themed. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, obviously.
Yeah. Nat 20.
Nat 20, baby.
Mine isn't as funny. I don't know. It's a little deep. It's Warhammer 40K lore.
Oh, nice.
So it's the Adeptus Custodes director left the roof of the Imperial Palace unguarded as its slope was a safety concern, and then it's like the Custodes female hire, obviously, because now the Custodes have females. Addressed the decision which allowed the Alpha Legion operatives to reach the Golden Throne and take a shot at the Emperor, like in Warhammer lore. I'm like, all right, that was pretty good.
That's pretty funny
because the Alpha Legions are like they're the secret, the evil legions who betrayed the Emperor. That's 2 levels deep.
That's pretty funny.
Warhammer.
That's pretty good.
The other one I saw was somebody already did an anime edit like the day after.
I saw that one. It was actually really good too.
It's a reference to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because in that show, in that anime, you have like your stand who's like just like a manifestation of your soul, like your persona. It's a spirit form of you. And there's one in there that even like he stops time, and all of them have different powers, like you're an X-Men or whatever. And so yeah, like Donald Trump's like stand comes out from behind him and like catches the bullet. Like that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Again, maybe a little too soon because that was like literally the day after, man. Like
yeah,
those weebs work quick. We need the anime edit of Donald Trump stopping a bullet.
I've seen a bunch of stuff. Like, it's crazy that there was an assassination, like a legit assassination attempt on a president in our lifetime. Last one was Reagan. Before that was Roosevelt. I think we went over. There was like a bunch of, like, every generation has like theirs, you know.
You would technically count Kennedy. Successful assassination.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Kennedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Enough about that bullcrap.
Yeah, more on
We're an apolitical channel.
That's right. On to fun stuff. Halo. I saw the headlines. I'm like, not surprised.
Yeah, Halo. Fantastic game series.
Amazing.
One of the best. Had this wonderful TV show that came out.
Amazing.
The best TV show. And yeah, it was like good for like maybe 15 minutes before Master Chief took his helmet off.
Yeah, it was like it was pretty accurate.
Yeah, and from there it just turned into a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I didn't even finish season 1 yet.
Nor I.
No, yeah. 4 episodes in, I think I got out of 8.
I don't even remember. It's been so long since I even tried.
They had a season 2, which I heard absolutely nothing about.
I honestly, so I saw this headline. It said Halo's getting canceled. And I was like, oh, only 1 season. After season 2, I said, oh, they're doing another season and then canceling it. It's like, oh no, season 2 came out like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it already came out.
And I was like,
maybe last year.
Yeah, still. I don't know when it came out. I didn't know it came out. Like,
no,
I hadn't heard anything about it.
Nowhere in the media. I don't know if they did 0 advertising. So
I wonder what their returning watchers was like.
Yeah, right.
Because it's on Paramount.
Paramount.
Yeah.
So you can track that.
And so like they have all the stats of like who's watching it, if they're a return customer to watch it, like
who new subscribers just for season 2. Like
yeah.
There was no advertising, probably not.
Craziness.
So Master Cheeks is gone as we know him.
Yeah,
because
it's just such a travesty.
I don't remember if that was season 1 or 2, but like he had a sex scene. I don't know if you heard.
He did?
That. Yeah, it was weird. That's why they called him Master Cheeks.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. I know there was the pink-haired Spartan.
I think it was season 2 because he ended up.
Was it with the pink-haired Spartan or with the alien
with
chick?
the white-haired alien chick.
Yeah.
Well, she was human, but she was raised by aliens or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
The story of the show is totally unrelated to anything in the games, so.
Yeah, I don't even know what the MacGuffin was that they were trying to find.
I think it uses the same names, but nothing else is the same.
Yeah, it was a bit of a cluster of a TV show.
Yeah, no. So it's dead and gone.
Which, like, it's such a sad thing. I know we've talked about this ad nauseum for many, many shows. But, like, you have this IP that's so good and so cherished and beloved by so many people. And the story is just fantastic.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to, you could take that story, make it IRL or live action, whatever you want to call it, and you would have millions of people who would watch that show.
Totally.
And if you wanted to embellish a little bit here on the story, it's like, you know, maybe he doesn't have to take the exact path or whatever, right? You have add an extra little area, add an extra little mini boss that he has to fight or whatever.
Run it through the IP experts, the original authors or whatever.
Dude,
like,
I think... Yeah. I think that, honestly, these TV studios should take a random panel of, like, if using Halo as an example, right?
Yeah.
Gamers online who play the Halo games, where it's like,
just take that.
I am a Halo streamer, or I am a, you know, I've played Halo this much times. Take, like, I don't know, whoever that would do that.
Put them on a panel.
And say, this is what we've got so far. Show them, like, the pilot episode. Show them, like, a couple episodes, couple clip, you know, whatever. Just be like, thoughts?
What do you think?
And if the general consensus is below a 8.5, you should probably revamp it.
Yeah.
It's like, why are we changing stuff up? It's like the Avatar: The Last Airbender live action.
Oh, geez.
It's like,
the one
you literally could copy paste. You could have a guaranteed 3 seasons of amazing show.
Yeah. Even if because they were both like, they were all 20 something episodes.
So they're 18 to 20 episodes.
Even if you want to combine it, you know, like you can do 10 episodes at
3 10-episode seasons.
Yeah.
Do an 45-minute long episode each, which is 2 episodes of Avatar.
Yeah.
Of the original show. It's like, just put 2 episodes, call it good. And you would have 3 seasons guaranteed to be extremely, extremely successful.
Yep. Just copy paste. But
because what I've heard is that the actors were pretty okay for the casting was pretty all right.
Like, some of them were like kid actors, so I'm not gonna really knock them for that.
But, like, overall, it wasn't like bad casting of for the show.
No.
Right? And, like, bad acting for the actors. It was just like, why are we doing season 3 episode 3 stuff in season 1 episode 2?
Yeah, it was all jumbled up. It was weird.
That's what Ryan was saying. She was like, yeah, it's all just like smushed.
Like, they thought they weren't going to get more than 1 season or something, so
like,
let's just squish it all in.
So dumb. If you think
it's
why would you, if you don't think you're going to get more than 1 season, why would you make the show?
Why would you make it at all? Yeah.
Any show.
You should storyboard the whole thing, and that's what you present. But in this case, it's an adaptation, so it's already all written out for you. You just need to
copy, paste. Copy it and paste it.
Yeah, adaptations, man. I think I'm with most people in that. Like, I'm done. I'm done with adaptations. Only the original source of media. Only original ideas from now on. Like, keep video games as video games. Keep books as books, TV shows as TV shows. Like, don't.
I don't know. There have been some pretty good recent examples of adaptations that have been very, very good.
Been some okay ones, yeah.
The Mario movie was pretty good.
The Mario movie was pretty good because that was like,
it was an original story, though.
An original story, yeah. So I was like, you can cheese it a little bit if you just like, hey, we're just gonna take this universe or this IP.
Yeah. But you have to be very specific because, like, they tried doing that with Halo.
Yeah. And
you can't do that with Halo because the story is very, very specific.
Not if you're using Master Chief.
Yeah. Like I've seen it with like there was a YouTube one online where there was like it was a homemade like 30-minute long, 40-minute long
just like
a Halo movie.
mini movie.
Yeah. And I believe it was home creators, but it was like in an ODST school.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like before you get dropped in, like you go to like ODST schooling, right? And it was like barracks in that situation and stuff like that.
I'm pretty sure that's the Halo 4 movie. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Is it like an official movie?
Yeah, Forward Unto Dawn.
I don't remember.
Master Chief shows at the
yeah. And they're always in like one of them is always like getting like war leaks of like Master Chief's helmet camera or whatever. Yeah. Okay, maybe it's like an official movie. Yeah. But like that movie, that was like great.
Yeah, it was fine.
Like low production quality.
Yeah.
But like entertaining. More entertaining than the millions of dollars they spent on Paramount's bullcrap.
Yeah. Dungeons and Dragons, that movie again did pretty good because that was just the IP, and then they wrote an original story in the universe.
Yeah,
like that was an okay adaptation. I'm fine with that.
I liked that movie actually.
I did enjoy that too.
That was good.
It could have been better, but it was fine.
But like nearly any movie can be better, right? But like for what it was and like what they were trying to do, like I thought it was great. Trying to think of other like IPs, other movies. All Quiet on the Western Front, that was a great movie that they just came out with.
Yeah.
Previous adaptations haven't been as fantastic.
I thought the original was like fine.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I can't think of any others that are like.
Yeah, we could do a list.
But like, I just
in general. Yeah.
We should. Here's another business idea, Trevor. We just need just like some like super rich angel investor to come and like let us do all these ideas.
Yeah.
Start a studio that only does adaptations, but only does it on the source material.
Yeah.
It's like we are going to make a live action Berserk.
Just copy and paste.
Copy paste.
Yeah.
Copy paste. For example, the One Piece.
Oh yes, there you go.
That adaptation.
Good adaptation.
Was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic.
I did really enjoy that one. I ended up going back and finishing it. I was like taking it slow or taking breaks here and there, but no, I ended up going back and finishing. It was fun. It was a good time.
I thought it was a great show.
Yeah.
I thought it was super great.
And they weren't trying to like cram too much into one season in case we don't get a second one or whatever.
No,
they just.
And it didn't feel rushed. It felt like there was enough story. It was like you got like enough action and stuff. Yeah, great adaptation.
An adventure, so they were just telling the story as it went along. Like there was enough of a natural like kind of climax to the season. So
and then at the end you learn like, oh, this guy's like the grandpa was just like testing him, and it's like, oh, this is fun.
A lead up to the next season.
Yeah,
still, but it's like still a faithful adaptation. So
no, I'm. We should just start one where it's like all of our favorite IPs.
For anything.
A Deep Rock Galactic movie.
Whoa.
It'd be actually really funny.
That actually would be pretty good. Again, you do Deep Rock Galactic below the planet, and then Helldivers on the surface of the planet.
There you go.
They're all just killing bugs.
There you go. Probably not enough story there.
Yeah, maybe not. You have to write a story. Write your own original story inside someone else's IP.
That's not what we're doing, Trevor.
No.
That's not what this universe is.
But we could make money, Steven.
I don't care.
Money.
I don't care enough about that.
But we could put our own message, our own agenda in someone else's IP.
Speaking of, you'll see how my brain works here in a sec.
Oh.
See about Microsoft, not the horrible thing that happened with their antivirus stuff or whatever.
Funny.
That was hilarious because yesterday I just had no money to use.
Yeah.
And I work at a bank.
I also saw memes on that of like the guy who supposedly worked for the antivirus thing. He was just like, "Hey guys, this is my first day at work. I just pushed a new update. I'm gonna take the rest of the afternoon off. See ya." It was like a fake like Instagram post.
That's funny.
It was very funny. But not that.
I believe it's Microsoft.
Microsoft
DEI.
Yeah, laid off a whole DEI.
One of their whole DEI groups.
Whole department was
just like, oh, goodbye.
See ya.
Which is hilarious.
Very, very interesting. Yeah.
I thought it was very, very funny. I'm hoping that it means that video games and movies and TV will start to like not be that anymore.
Yeah.
Not that I'm against like each one of those individually. Like diversity, equity, and inclusion are like
they're like.
Well, first of all, actually, I do have a problem with diversity.
Yeah, sure.
Equity and inclusion, I'm 100% for.
Yeah.
Right. It's like treat other people with respect, and don't be a racist homophobe.
Right. Yeah. Like
basically
include everybody. Yeah. That's.
I mean, that's
cool.
like, yeah.
But as far as like mandating quotas, that's where
That's messed up.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. Like I said, with those ideas, I don't have a problem with.
Yeah.
The implementation of those is like, okay, like let's do this based off of like the merits of the candidate, not their skin tone in any situation.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, why are we trying to do it that way instead of just saying like, hey, this guy has been a programmer for 13 years and is now coming for a job here. It's great. Let's look at the work he's done previously. It's fantastic. Why don't we hire him?
Hire him. Cool.
And then he comes in for the first day. He's like, I guess I could have figured that Patesh was an Indian.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole argument gets political when it really shouldn't. It's and I've heard it argued again, you know, on both sides. You hire the right guy for the job. What's so wrong about that? The right person for the job.
Man or woman or straight or gay, whatever skin tone.
The quick example I had this week, right? The Secret Service again.
Yeah. Super rough.
That came out that they were mandated 30% of the Secret Service be women. Like, in Spanish we say COC, which is like guaranteed, like must be 30% women. Which like, and if you're just hiring any random woman, it takes away from the actual badass women who deserve to be there. If you're just saying, oh, we're just trying to fill a quota, where we've got like awesome Secret Service woman and just like normal random woman because we needed to fill a quota.
Yeah. If I were ever president, I'm the most unelectable human being possible.
And you wouldn't want it.
No. No. I would make every single Secret Service agent that is going to be protecting me or my family or whatever be able to outshoot me.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I would take them into a shooting range.
Put a shooting range in the White House.
Also, why is there not a shooting range in the White House?
Yeah, I guess.
That'd be the most American thing ever.
Yeah, right.
If I'm president, a shooting range, 100-yard range.
Shooting range next to the Eagle's Nest. Got to get some bald eagles there at the White House.
Okay, that type of eagle's nest.
Yeah, that type of eagle's nest. The apiary.
There you go.
Aviary?
Apiary.
Apiary is, I think, is bees.
Apiary is bees.
Yeah. Okay.
What is the bird one?
My wife would know. She's not here.
Avium.
Ave.
Something like that.
Something.
Anyway.
Yeah.
No, but I would take every single one of them and either
that's their like test. That's the after all the physical stuff.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Like
whatever.
Like I'm not expecting you to like storm the castle, right? It's like you need to protect me. Like I don't care if you can run a mile in 7 minutes and 30 seconds compared to
how many push-ups can you do, bro?
It's like, no, if you're a massive guy, it's like, can you punch the socks off of someone and shoot well? Those are kind of my two requirements there, right? Like
we'll have the boxing ring and the shooting range. There's your test.
And so like if they can't, like I don't know if like I would either would I do it in like just like a static range and you have to like shoot better than me there, or like beat me in a shoot house.
Oh, okay. Like a live contest.
Yeah, like with the Simtex rounds.
Yeah, okay.
The simulation rounds. That'd be fun.
That would be pretty fun, actually. At the very least, I mean, yeah, you could do like pistol, rifle, sniper, like on long range. You do a range of that, like.
Yeah, honestly, the long range, long range is not my forte.
Yeah,
like I'm okay at it, but like I would not pit myself. Like I'm sure there's many people that could beat me in long range.
Yeah,
but like I mean, I specifically mean like the Secret Service guys, right? Yeah. But like pistol and rifle, it's like no, we're doing this. And if you can't beat me, sayonara.
You're
like
out.
I should just have the gun at that point.
Go guard some other.
If you're trying to guard me and you can't beat my shooting skills, it's like
then give me the gun.
Then give me the gun, and you can be the one I'm protecting. Like
how come there aren't more presidents who just concealed carry? I don't know. Maybe it's not allowed.
Why would it not be allowed?
Because you already have a dozen guys on you or whatever. I don't know.
Dude, if
I feel like we've never seen it.
If I'm the president, I'm going on live stream every single Saturday shooting guns.
Are they like?
Are you joking? Dude, How popular would a president be if they were on Twitch and like if they streamed every week at like a certain time?
Yeah.
And they like you just if I'm president, I'm doing that.
Well, okay, so we're getting there. We're like millennials are kind of getting into office and getting like elected. They're getting into public office, like JD Vance, the VP pick.
Yeah.
I didn't know
like, why
anything
doesn't
about him, but he's a millennial. I'm like,
yeah,
all right.
He's the same age as Vivek.
Oh, yeah, okay, 35,
39, 38? Something like
quite
that.
40.
Yeah. But, like, why doesn't, like, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez do that?
Yeah.
She's, like, is she 30 now? She was pretty young when she got in.
Yeah. So, like, she could be doing, like, Instagram things.
I don't know. But if I'm president, 100% doing...
Yeah. Kind of surprised there's not more, like, Congress members who like do things like that because they're generally can be a little bit younger.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm running for political office now just so I can live stream shooting ranges.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe you're not allowed to even like concealed carry like at the White House or at the Capitol.
I'm the freaking president. I run the country.
It seems kind of dumb.
I have immunity.
Are senators? Do they conceal?
What happened? Here's a question. Official action. I'm allowed to conceal carry. Writing an executive order to the ATF, president can conceal carry wherever he wants.
Doesn't have to go through metal detectors. Like,
and now it's an official action. So can I just do it whenever I want now?
I mean, personally, I'm okay with that because, like, the president's, like, he's the president. I don't know. He already made it.
Interesting.
In theory, over half the country trusts you, but the whole country should accept you. What are you gonna do? You're not gonna go shoot up a bank, like. I mean,
also, like, why would you?
Yeah. Also, right. Doesn't. I don't see why not.
Interesting.
It would just be weird. Would be weird.
Yeah.
Executive order.
Did you? What do we want to talk about next, Trevor?
Since it's semi-related, I'll give a teaser into Assassin's Creed Shadows.
There you
go. Even though, again, this is ongoing, I do want to like maybe talk about this more in depth sometime when it's all said and done. But Assassin's Creed Shadows, I don't think we mentioned on here.
I think we mentioned it once.
Okay, is Ubisoft's next game set in Japan? You know, the Assassin's Creed games are always set in history. I mean, the first like 4 were all Italy, with the actual assassins versus the Templars. And then, so then they've done Pirates. They did the Egypt one, you know, and you always play as someone from that time period, the Viking one, the Greek one. Because then
Didn't they have a Spanish one?
Black Flag was the pirate one, was technically like Spanish Caribbean.
Gotcha.
But not like literal Spain, I don't think.
Gotcha.
So yeah, their next one, Assassin's Creed Shadows, features the black samurai of origin, of history, Yasuke. And there's been a decent amount of like people kind of up in arms about that, like, hey, we wanted to play as like a Japanese samurai in the Japanese Assassin's Creed game. Because that's what you do with all the other previous games. Like, you played as not a black guy, but you played as an Egyptian guy in the Egyptian one, and nobody had a problem with that. He was darker skinned, but not super black because it's
Egypt.
It's North Africa.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I see that. The other protagonist is like a female ninja who's Asian, like she's Japanese. All right, that makes sense. But people are like, you know, wanted to play as like a normal samurai, quote unquote, because this guy from history, we think was like the only black samurai, but there wasn't really a whole lot of data on that. And so that was normal people and some Japanese citizens signing petitions or whatever. Hey, Assassin's Creed, can you change this like for like our culture? But now the Japanese government is getting involved because I don't know if they sued Ubisoft or they're just investigating. I forget.
I think I saw that they had sued them. I think that's what I saw. I can't pull the source and I don't remember, but I think that's what I saw.
Have our man in the chair pull that up. We don't have it. We don't have it.
That's me in 24 hours.
We don't have live fact checking. Sorry. But either way, the literal Japanese government is investigating all of the claims that this figure from history, Yasuke, was even a samurai, that he even had any training, like because it was only some journalist who had been making those claims, and so now they're digging into it and all of his data to support that. And it's all connected to Ubisoft, because Ubisoft has been using that, and they've even been like changing Wikipedia pages to like or not letting people, like the Japanese people, edit it. Like, so it's kind of a whole cluster truck going on of like, okay, what actually happened in history, and I just think it's interesting. The whole government is like doing some digging into their history to like, okay, let's figure this out here.
Do you think it changes anything that Ubisoft does?
I don't know. I think the game's set to release later this year.
November
is 4 months away.
It's either November or October, I believe.
So I don't know if they have time to like change the whole game, but maybe they delay the game.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah,
especially if like this investigation comes out and like, yeah, this guy was just a slave. Sorry. He wasn't actually a samurai.
Yeah, it'd be rough.
But again, if they're just like, I don't know, I feel like it's slightly different, because if he was just a character in the game, whatever, that's fine. But he's like the main character. They're trying to say, this is the assassin. You're blending in Japan, doing assassin things.
Yeah.
Because again, I think last time we mentioned the controversy. Neo is another samurai age Japanese game. You play as a white guy who ended up in Japan, gets samurai training, but that one's also fantasy. There's spirits and whatnot, Japanese mythology added in. But you meet Yasuke as a character there, as like the black samurai. So you guys are like, hey, we're both not supposed to be here. But you weren't like playing him as the protagonist in an Assassin's Creed game, which has a precedence of like you play someone from the time period.
Yeah.
So, video games, man, they're getting governments involved.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So,
well, I'm interested to see what happens with it.
Yeah, how it plays out, how Ubisoft responds. Intriguing.
I'm very interested in Ubisoft's response.
Yeah, if they're just like, well, it's a video game, it's a work of fiction anyway.
There's three like potential responses, right? There's like, oh, we really, really screwed up. We're so sorry. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah,
we're changing the entire game. Game is delayed, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite of that is like just the big middle finger. Like, yeah, we're releasing this. We don't give a frick.
Yeah.
We don't give a rip. You can go pound sand, kick rocks, chew sticks, whatever you want to say, right?
Touch grass.
So,
yeah.
And then there's like the middle of the road where it's like, okay, we acknowledge we've really screwed up. We're gonna delay by a month, tweak a couple things here to make like the dialogue not call him a samurai, but you still play him as like effectively a samurai.
Yeah, to maybe better like not misappropriate the Japanese culture,
and then still release it with that character as,
which it is a work of fiction, but we want to respect your history and your culture.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, that's probably the option that would be the best middle ground.
Yeah.
Obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're not going to spend the millions of dollars to redo the entire game.
No.
And they're not going to. I hope
they
have the sense to not just give a big middle finger to everyone,
especially the government of Japan at this point, because then they would like not get sales, or
the government of Japan might ban it.
Just ban it. Yeah. It's like this. Like, you are horribly like. Misappropriating our culture and our history.
I wonder what the Yakuza think of it.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if they have any thoughts. I would love to meet a Yakuza member.
I would actually.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah.
I think their tattoos are some of the coolest and prettiest tattoos ever.
Dude, they're sick. Yeah.
Where they have like just like the line down the middle so that they can still sweat.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
Well, and it's and all of their tattoos can be covered by long sleeves. You just like, because that's very like classy.
Yeah.
Like, you can still wear a suit and go out and nobody knows.
I saw a video a couple days ago, and it was of some street party festival thing going on in Japan, and all of a sudden this crowd just like parts like the Red Sea, and this line of Yakuza guys who are not like being like malicious. They're just walking and chilling. They're just walking through, and it's like, oh, they still have like people still respect the crap out of these guys.
They still have a lot of pull. Yeah, they were big in the 80s and 90s, and I can say this now as an expert, having played one of the Yakuza games. I know all about Japanese history from the 80s. No, my brother would actually like school me on like Japanese history and Yakuza lore, if that's a thing. The lore of the games and then the actual real life history. But they were big in the 80s, and like organized crime went up technically because the government just like allowed Yakuza to exist, but like normal crime went down. So the Yakuza are respected by many of that generation because they were more effective than their own government at keeping them safe. So people are just like, Yakuza, go for it. Do whatever you have to. Like,
I mean, that's similar. My uncle served his mission in Sicily, which is like the home of the mafia.
The mafia,
right?
Yeah.
And mafia, traditionally super religious.
Yes.
Same thing in Sicily.
Very Catholic,
very religious. Had no problem with the missionaries. Loved the missionaries.
Awesome. Very cool.
My uncle and his companion had their bike stolen one day.
Oh, dang.
And they had always been riding their bikes, and they were riding around, and this guy, they didn't know who it was, stopped them and said, "Hey, where are your bikes at? I've seen you riding around. Like, where are your bikes?" And he said, "Oh, they got stolen last night." The guy says, "Really?" And they go, "Yeah, it's kind of crappy. We got to go either buy new ones or like figure out what's going on." The guy says, "Don't worry about your bikes."
Oh, jeez.
And the next morning, they have both of their bikes back.
The same bikes.
Locked where they're supposed to go.
Wow.
On their front porch or wherever they're.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they rode by, and a couple of days later, they saw this guy again, and they're like, "Hey, like, what?" And he's like, "I'm glad you got your bikes back."
I told you not to worry about your bikes.
And my uncle tells the story much better, obviously.
Sure.
Lived experience, right? But like, general gist of it is like, you
don't mess with organized crime, man.
a lot of organized crime is like super good. Well, okay, I'm going to retract that statement.
Sure. I'll let you backpedal.
Organized crime is not always bad.
Not always bad.
And some of the influence that they have can be utilized for non-malicious purposes.
Right. There you go.
There's my official statement.
And especially, obviously, I'm biased because I'm a weeb or whatever. But like, looking at Japan, I'm like, all right, the Yakuza seem to just have better class than like, I'll say, organized crime in the U.S.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, like their tattoos look stylish and professional. They're always dressed nice in suits. Like they have a sense of like honor. They have a code, even though it's like they're bad guys.
Yeah, then you look at like the gangs here. It's like the mafia used to run stuff and like, okay, cool. But like the Bloods and the Crips,
they just seem a little not as organized as the Yakuza. That's what I'll say.
I think the closest thing that a Native Americans have that isn't an imported gang from another country is like maybe like the Hells Angels, like biker gangs.
Oh, sure. Biker gangs is actually pretty. That's like our American version of that.
Yeah, but even then, they're still perceived as like the mafia and the Yakuza, and I'm sure that like there are other gangs.
The triads from Hong Kong. That's what they're called.
What are the ones? There's like some Eastern European ones.
Oh,
like
yeah.
In Armenia and Bulgaria and crap like that.
Croatia.
Right? Or it's like those ones have like an air of like sophistication,
Again, kind of a sense of honor.
Yeah, it's like duty. It's like almost a I don't know. Like it doesn't seem like grungy and dirty. It seems like we're technically criminals, but like also the criminal boss goes to the coffee shop every morning and gets a cappuccino and a baguette or whatever.
And we're all family.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's like I would see, like in my mind's eye, the leader of the Yakuza, the leader of the mafia, all of the families of the mafia, whatever, the leader of the triad would all like be able to sit down and have like a nice like drink of wine at like a 5-star restaurant, like 3 Michelin star restaurant type thing, right? It's like they wouldn't look out of place. Whereas like Bloods and the Crips, the Hells Angels, like the American gangs, it's like they would just seem so out of place.
Sure.
And it's like that's unfortunate.
A little less classy with our.
Yeah. It's like all the American gangs do, it feels like, is like drink beer and like fight each other.
Yeah.
It's like, but why don't we have like a classy gang? Not that I want gangs necessarily.
Right.
But like,
that's why. Pros and cons.
Pros and cons. Anyway.
But they seem cool.
They seem dope. If I had to have one gang, I'd choose the Yakuza over Hells Angels or whatever. Although Hells Angels do seem pretty cool to be.
Yeah,
actually. Biker clubs, motorcycle clubs,
MC,
the motorcycle clubs.
MCs.
They can seem pretty cool.
Yeah, and we compared it, but they're not. They don't technically do anything illegal.
Yeah,
on the books, but
like it's like well documented. Like the mafia and the government are like hand in hand. Yakuza government. It's like
actually illegal.
Yeah, it's like almost sanctioned crime, nearly sanctioned crime.
Whereas, like as you said, MCs are harmless
on the face. Yeah.
But the image.
And there's hundreds of motorcycle clubs where it's like this is literally just a motorcycle club.
Oh yeah. We just ride motorcycles.
Yeah. Like
they have different themes or whatever. Like this is the cancer survivors motorcycle club. Cool. Yeah. Right? Yeah, there's totally harmless. There's nothing bad about that. So
anyway,
that's the Japanese moment. Assassin's Creed Shadow.
There you go.
Coming soon
to a PlayStation near you.
Probably, maybe.
Are they on all consoles? They're on Xbox. I know that. Ryan plays on Xbox.
I don't know if they was come out on Xbox immediately, but maybe they do now.
That's true. She is playing through the old ones
because they've also come out on PC a little bit after. But
I feel like the Assassin's Creed games are games where it's like almost necessity have a controller instead of
and console exclusivity is like at an all-time low. Like people don't really make things exclusive anymore.
I think Microsoft, in order to purchase Activision Blizzard, had to sign an agreement with. Well, they had to sign an agreement with Sony.
Yeah.
To not have all. I believe I don't know if it's all games or only all Call of Duty games release on PlayStation and Xbox at the same time.
Right. Okay, I do remember hearing about that.
I don't know if it was all games. I know it was at least the Call of Duty franchise. I don't know if it was all games though,
because they had to get through the European Union's rules of like a monopoly or whatever. So
yeah, which that's a whole. We're not a business podcast, but there are some people telling or thinking that certain companies, because for whatever reason, so there's 3 main groups that are antitrust groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
The US has one, England has one, or Britain has one, and the EU has one.
Gotcha. That
all companies, if there's going to be a merger, basically have to go through if they're like a big international company, right?
Yeah.
And so Adobe was purchasing this company, and both companies were operating in all 3 zones, so they had to go through all 3 courts in order for the merger to be approved, which is ridiculous that that's allowed to happen. And went through the American one fine, went through the British one fine, and then the EU was like, no. And so the 2 options were, okay, merger doesn't go through, or you stop operating in Europe.
Yeah.
And
which isn't really an option.
Well,
a big company.
But it is. It would hurt their bottom line. It would. But it hurt Europe a lot more.
Fair. That's a fair point.
And so it's a little bit of like a Mexican standoff, but also like, Adobe's going to get shot, but the EU might get shot and die.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, I'm going to call your bluff. Like, let's see who dies first.
Yeah. Well, and with the US, market and the British market.
You'd have enough like stamina to stay in the game.
Well, and I mean, you're cutting overhead as well because you don't have to run your servers in Europe. You don't have to run any headcount in Europe. You
suffer maybe some PR failures because people who are just like, oh man, I don't know this game in Europe.
Most of Silicon Valley is like starting to say, like, at least from what I understand, right? Like, I'm not in that world, right? But most of the tech company and tech people are like starting to say, like, hey, like, we understand, like, if it's like a blatant monopoly busting thing, like, okay, that's fine. But like, this was the situation I'm speaking of is an Adobe acquisition of a company that had like a very specific editing tool, and so they were going to buy that company,
buy the tool,
and then integrate it into Adobe's suite of bullcrap, right?
Fine.
Well, that's what everyone else thought too, except for the EU, and so they said no, and so apparently it was like Adobe was thinking of just like saying, "Good luck on finding another software to use. Like, if you think we're a monopoly." Or if you think this,
see if you can live without us.
Yeah, it's like kind of proving they are a little bit, but like at the same time, it's like there are other photo editing and video editing softwares you can use that might not be or may be better than Adobe, but like
that's very interesting. Yeah, I feel like everyone generally has a like grim view of monopolies, but nobody was around in the early 1900s when like the big monopoly scares were going on. I don't think we're anywhere close to back then. Like,
no,
it was literally Carnegie and Rockefeller and Morgan owned everything. Like,
don't forget. Oh yeah, Morgan. Schwab.
Klaus Schwab. There you go. There we go. Yep.
Not Klaus. Charles.
Yeah, Charles. Right. Like they owned everything.
Yeah,
and they were having meetings together.
This is something that's even funnier though. So
I just don't think we're quite there.
This is maybe a little interesting business history lesson. Standard Oil, which was Rockefeller's company, made him a gazillionaire. Literally the historically richest man on the earth, I believe.
I'm pretty sure, adjusted for inflation. He's
even richer than Elon Musk, which is crazy.
The millions and millions he had back then.
Well, I think he had like $800 million in the beginning of the 1900s.
Jeez. Which is like uncountable now.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many different, and same with Andrew Carnegie. That's why there's so many Carnegie Halls all over the country.
Yeah, exactly.
Rockefeller Center, So Rockefeller, Standard Oil was his company. The government was like, this was exactly when they were passing all this, business reform and saying like, hey, no more monopolies and things like that. And passing like laws where it's like, okay, you can't underprice your stuff just to like beat out your competition, right? Which is exactly what Standard Oil was doing. Because they had so much production capability, and had so much money on the books, they could like literally survive for years at going at a loss.
Just playing the long game,
and just getting rid of all their competition, right? And so the government passed all those laws, which like justifiable. I'm okay with those laws, right? Like, fine.
It was a wild west of businesses.
It was, and there needed to be some framework where it's like, you can't just be a dick, right? Like,
be cunning as a businessman.
Yes,
crafty, like the American dream kind of incorporates that.
Yeah, but like,
be successful,
be fair, play fair. Like,
don't be a dick.
Yeah. So what happened was they got to Standard Oil, and they said, okay, Standard Oil needs to like split into many different companies, right?
Yeah.
Well, the way that they decided to do that is they literally take the company and they allow the company itself to help divide. Like they propose a division structure, and then the government says that's okay, right? And then what happens is that one company, if it's a public company, which is the only one that's ever going to get split, basically, right? It's one stock market ticker is then split into 5 different ones, basically, right? And they all have their different ticker symbol and things like that. Well, legally, they're not allowed to change the ownership structure of those companies.
Sure.
And so if you owned one share of Standard Oil, you have to own one share of one of those other companies.
Yeah. Right.
Rockefeller owned a substantial portion of Standard Oil.
Uh-huh.
And so his shares got split between all 5 of them.
Oh, geez.
Well, what happens is the stock is, the company is split onto the stock market, and they all now have their own separate stock price. And when that happens, the company has split all these assets equally among these 5 companies now. Standard Oil was split equally into 5, so they can all operate as oil companies.
Interesting. So it's not a monopoly.
Correct. And what happens is the stock market helps figure out who is going to gain superiority based off of well location and distribution ability and things like that. Well, Rockefeller got way richer when this happened because, yes, they split his stock price and some of his stock price went down, but the other ones shot up because, this one,
they weren't being
all the different they weren't being tethered by the lower crap. Yeah. But they operate independently now. So it does monopoly bust, right?
Sure. But he's still on top of it. Like, so I mean, yeah. Very interesting.
And I don't know if the same thing happened with Carnegie.
Yeah, Carnegie Steel.
But it 100% happened with Rockefeller.
That's pretty interesting, yeah.
And the same thing happened with AT&T.
Oh, okay.
AT&T also had a
monopoly bust.
A monopoly get busted up. Later than it was after the original core group of ones that got busted up, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't remember when it was.
Yeah, that's kind of
it got split off into a couple different companies. I don't remember what they were called. Anyway,
it's very interesting. You bust the monopoly, but like it's almost a good thing.
Well, only for one person though.
For one person, yeah.
It's better for the vast majority of people.
Yes,
because it does introduce competition again.
And competition is good for consumers.
But it doesn't like. And my guess, I have no proof to back this up. My guess is that the reason it's structured like that instead of just the government saying like cleaver, is because Rockefeller was so powerful. He's like, hey, if you do this, I'm going to shut down all my wells.
You notice that was also the period of American history where U.S. senators were just appointed by state governments.
Yeah.
Instead of the people voting for them. And so you could just buy state senators.
Yeah.
So you could just buy Congress.
Yeah.
Which is 100% what happened in that time period.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Governors were bought.
Mm-hmm.
Congressmen, senators.
Yeah. The only thing you couldn't beat was the people voting for their representatives in the House of Representatives, but you could just buy senators.
Yeah.
So while I kind of liked the idea, I almost want to go back to that at this point. I think would be kind of fun because then at least it's different between a representative and a senator. Because now people just see that as like a promotion, when it should be like the representatives are the people, and then you voted for your own state governments, and then the state governments picked the best person to send.
Yeah, I think there's a problem with it though. I don't know. I agree on some parts where it's like I'd like to go back to that because it'd make things cleaner. It feels like.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, but like what happens when you have a state like California where 3 cities govern the whole state?
Yeah, exactly.
And Gavin Newsom is the governor of the state. It's like, okay, well, and maybe California's a bad example, right? Because they have 2 senators who are Democrats anyway.
Yeah.
But like a large swath of their population is Republicans. And so I guess I think of like Arizona, right, where we have Republican senators. 1 Republican senator? 2 Republican senators?
1 right now.
I don't remember. But like it's split, right? But
we have another one up for election. That's why.
Yeah,
that's why I don't remember. Yeah.
We have a Democrat governor right now, and so if she had been able to appoint,
she would have just appointed
2 Democrats, where it's like, okay, but like the only reason you won the governorship is because of Carrie Lake being Carrie Lake. I don't know why people like her. Anyway,
we don't have to go into that, but
we're not a political podcast.
Yeah.
But anyway, What were we talking about?
We have one final topic for the day.
Before my card.
We have 5 minutes left. You want to talk about gun trade shows in 5 minutes? Is that a short topic?
Yeah, I can make it short.
I'm intrigued by it. So
yeah, it's just something I've been noticing is I don't know how I want to frame this topic, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess basically I do a lot of research into guns. I watch a lot of gun content. I read about guns. I
heard you announce earlier in this episode you're a gun expert.
Pseudo expert because it's not official.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You are. Yeah.
I would claim
you are the gun guy.
I am yes. Anyway. There's not much I don't know about guns.
Sure.
In terms of modern firearms. Historic firearms is a whole thing where it's like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
But I know a decent amount of modern firearms. Yeah, anyway. One thing I've noticed, which is interesting, is that the gun trade shows and gun large-scale events have been increasing in number.
Okay.
But nothing is happening with that.
Interesting, yeah.
It just seems like a big circle jerk to me.
Yeah. You mean specifically like just average run-of-the-mill gun shows, or
no,
like the SHOT Show?
Not gun shows, trade shows specifically.
Trade shows, okay.
Where it's like SHOT Show. There's another one called Gun Con.
It's like gun manufacturers.
There's the Yep, exactly. The NRA show, right?
Okay. That are not really consumers. It's just for the business side of things.
And there's been it used to be SHOT Show.
Yeah.
And then the National Shooting Sports Foundation, who owns and runs SHOT Show, kind of not broke ties with, but kind of like tried to like separate themselves from the NRA, right? As two different entities, right?
Right.
They just wanted a little bit more identity, it feels like. And so the NRA was like, well, we kind of liked using SHOT Show as our show, but like we can't now. So I guess we're making the NRA show. And so now every year there's SHOT Show and the NRA show. And it's like, okay, that's fine, I guess. And now there's the third one that's like gained a huge amount of popularity called Gun Con. And it's been started by a YouTuber.
Oh, nice.
But has gained immense amounts of popularity because of his ties with the gun industry.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a huge show. In fact, they've outgrown the places that they've been at each year, right? So, they sell 10,000, 20,000 tickets a year to this show.
God.
And people go, and companies go and announce new products at all three of these shows. And I guess it's similar to my general gripe with the gun industry, as well as this just feels like it's exacerbating it. Is every single SHOT Show that happens, there's like two things where it's like, this is an innovation in the gun industry.
Sure.
Like, this is innovative. This is progress forward in whatever direction, right?
Cool new technology.
And it's not only just two people, right? But like more or less, it's a very small handful of companies, and most of the time they're low company. It's not the big name companies that are like doing stuff, right?
Yeah, again, as we've joked before, it's like, look, we have another Glock 57.
No, this is exactly what I'm saying, though.
Ooh.
Every single time I go and and there's also a bunch of new European gun shows that are
kind of rising
up. There's two or three of them that are for Europe specifically, but because the U.S. is the largest purchaser of guns in the world, they also cater to the American market a lot.
Totally.
Right? Reasonable, right? Like that makes sense. Those ones I don't have as much of a gripe with because they're actually doing some stuff that's cool. But like nothing like crazy, but like, okay, I can see that. But just generally, like, it's like, okay, every single year, a company comes out with another AR that is either more expensive or cheaper than their last one. They come out with another pistol that's either more expensive or cheaper than their last one.
Right.
They come out with some bullcrap, like, new system that's amazing, and it's like, okay, but this is just this with extra steps.
It's just an AR platform.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
It's like, no companies are like, It's like, we've added this new M-lock handguard to this gun, and instead of being a 15-inch handguard, it's now a 16-inch handguard.
Oh.
And that means it's an extra $200. It's like, okay, but it's still an AR. It's like,
yeah. So what is kind of what I'm gathering from your point of view.
Yeah, and like every single company,
so
like there's some like accessory companies that are coming out with like cool products. You know, the training space has really opened up. So like, there's products that are being developed that are cool, right?
Yeah.
But like actual gun technology is the most stagnant, in my opinion, it's ever been.
Yeah.
There's nothing new, and I think the reason is because we kind of reached the pinnacle of modern gun or current gun technology,
mm-hmm.
and there has to be some sort of, I don't know what the right word is, but integration of multiple different facets of the gun community to make one product that is a whole ecosystem in and of itself.
Yeah.
Right? Where like right now you have the gun companies are more like Android companies, if I'm going to use a technology example, right? Where it's like you have an Android phone, let's call it a Samsung.
Every year they come out with a new one.
And it's the same bullcrap, right?
It's the same thing.
And you have a watch from whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think what needs to happen is they need to come out with a system similar to like Apple, where it all integrates into one.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that might be a bad analogy, but like it just seems like, okay, you have these gun companies who make fine guns, and they make guns with like optic cuts, and it's like, okay, yeah, cool. I'm going to put a red dot on my pistol. Which one do you want? It's like, well, this company uses this footprint. Mm-hmm. This company uses this footprint. And now I have to have like different footprints and like different slide plates to put in there so that I can mount these specific optics. It's like, okay, great. Like, oh, and now the biggest thing now, and it's all trends, and like they're not bad trends, but it's like now every gun is coming with like either a muzzle brake or ports or on it or something like that. And it's like, yeah, this is great for the shooting experience and great for performance. But like people have been doing this for decades.
To compare to the computer industry that I know, a little bit more about, but still not really an expert. The whole like push in computing and technology is microchips, is get things smaller and get things cheaper for the American public. And it doesn't really seem, smaller doesn't really, I guess, work
no
for the gun industry, but cheaper certainly, like
cheaper could work, but for some reason guns are getting more expensive.
Yeah.
So, there are a couple companies that are fighting against it. Palmetto State Armory is the best gun company on the planet right now. You
mentioned them to me, yep.
Palmetto State Armory is, in my opinion, the best gun company, value-wise, 100%. No competition there. Quality-wise, their products are very quality. They're not the most amazing, like they're not the most accurate barrels.
No, yeah.
They're not the most reliable systems. But instead of a Glock being $600, they sell them for $250, $300.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a Glock, but it's the exact same thing. They call it the Dagger, right? Is their version of it. But they have ARs that are $1,000 for like something that 5, 6, 10 years ago you would get for like $2,300.
Yeah, geez. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. To compare to the computing industry, you don't need the biggest, the best, the fastest, because that stuff is going to be too expensive for the average person. So unless you're selling like only in the industry, like Intel making chips, like you need the best chips for other people who need to run their super complex machines. But like average American person is fine with an i7. Like you don't need anything fancier, more expensive.
Yeah,
you'd rather have it cheaper, slightly faster.
Yeah, and I think the gun companies are always like, oh, well, this gun is like going to increase the shootability of our guns. It's like, okay, but like, and my gripe is like, okay, if you have this beautiful 1911 or 2011 that you're using, sorry, 2011 is a copyrighted term, double stack 1911.
Double stack.
If you have these beautiful guns, like there is a place for those, right? But like, the whole industry doesn't need to move towards them, right?
No.
And that's what we're seeing right now. There's this rush towards the full steel frame 2011 style gun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, but 6 Hours doing some of this where it's like, okay, we're going to focus a lot on training the people who buy our guns. because we want good shooters, not just good purchasers.
Yeah. Yeah, because that seems better overall for the health of the market and the point of the service.
There just is there just doesn't seem to be any innovation, and it feels stagnant. It feels so stagnant. And with one trade show, it's like, okay, maybe that's just because there's one trade show and everyone's releasing all the same exact bullcrap at the same time. It's like, okay, maybe, but now there's 3 of them, 6 of them if you include the European
and they're
ones.
Just going to each one saying the same stuff.
Exactly. And it's like, oh, well, we announced ours at the NRA show instead of SHOT Show, or we announced ours at EWA in Europe instead of at SHOT Show.
What?
It's like, okay, but you're announcing an AR.
Yeah.
And it's like, but this one is shorter. It's like,
I don't know, if it was any other market, you'd say that's a dead market in 10 years. But it is guns, so probably not. But it seems like they need to innovate. So
I just don't know where. There are companies that are working on like fringe stuff, where like railgun type stuff or coil gun type stuff. It's
again,
like
that's cool for the military, but
well, they're working on like personal sized ones. It's like, yeah, exactly. They haven't been able to show any effectiveness.
No,
it's like they're glorified paintball guns at this point.
Right?
Like, they'll hurt real bad.
They'll hurt.
Like, it would suck to get hit by one, but like, I don't think you're gonna kill anyone with it, at least not easily.
Or hunt.
No, 0 chance of hunting with it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, that was interesting. That's
my thoughts.
Little
Steven's gun thoughts.
Insight into the gun world.
Yeah.
The gun trade world. Would you like to share our magic card of the day?
I can.
Brought to us by Steven.
Steven gets to talk the entire day today, apparently.
We're sponsored.
I apologize for talking so much.
Yeah, no, it happens. I asked. I was intrigued. Wanted to know.
Alrighty. So I chose, because I forgot to do this prior to 3 minutes before we started recording.
Sure, yeah. Magic card of the day
is one of the new ones from the Commander set of Bloomburrow. It's the Pyre Swipe Hawk. I don't know if you saw this one.
Does not ring a bell.
It's a 5 mana 4/4 mono red, 3 and 2 red pips, elemental bird with flying and haste. So 5 mana 4/4 flying haste.
Seen better.
Pretty okay,
but it's all right.
Whenever Pyre Swipe Hawk attacks, it gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the greatest mana value among artifacts you control.
Sure. Yeah.
Whenever you expend 6, which is one of the key phrases that the new phrasing that we talked about last week, new mechanics, I guess. Whenever you expend 6, gain control of up to 1 target artifact for as long as you control Pyre Swipe Hawk.
Oh, nice. All right.
So it's kind of like, yes, I spend 6 mana, and also I get another card from someone else.
Yeah. So the card advantage on that's kind of cool, actually. Let me see the art.
It looks pretty cool.
Pyre Swipe. That's kind of cool. He's swiping your shiny things. He's a magpie. Well, I guess he's called a hawk, but magpies take shiny things. Yeah, and so you can do it on the turn you cast him as well, because I was trying to read the wording on expend.
Oh, sorry.
It spends 6 total mana on spells, and he costs 5, so you can even do it on the turn he comes in. If you just spend 1 more mana on a spell, cast anything else, then yeah, you can steal an artifact and attack. You'll pump up his power. Yeah. Pyre Swipe Hawk. It's pretty cool.
He seems pretty good.
Yeah.
He's a rare, so
it's usually at least a random 2-cost artifact to steal. Some mana rock.
Dude, steal a Soul Ring?
Yeah, that's always good.
Yeah.
And then because his power gets boosted by any artifact you control, the mana value of an artifact you control. So yeah, you can throw him in an artifact deck if you want to guarantee his power's big, but
also you probably have a 1.
At the very least, just steal something else.
There's a 2 mana Arcane Signet, 1 mana Soul Ring. Like,
yeah,
some artifact is going to be on the board that's more than that.
Maybe somebody has an artifact creature.
Solemn Simulacrum's a 4.
Yeah, exactly. You steal their blocker.
You
steal their Ornithopter. Amazing value.
That's hilarious.
0-cost artifact.
That's hilarious.
Pyre Swipe Hawk. It's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's who I chose for.
Wait, was it no? You said it was an elemental bird.
Yep.
So not a phoenix.
Correct.
Okay. Just checking.
Why are we?
Because phoenixes exist in Magic the Gathering.
Oh, does it?
An elemental bird. Is that not just a phoenix?
It definitely is just a phoenix.
But I guess because phoenixes aren't in this set, it's all animal, like real life animals in the set, like mouse and fox and birds. No, that's okay.
I don't know what to tell you, Trevor.
Sorry. Fire Swipe Hawk. Proved.
Cool card. I thought it was, I was just trying to find one. I was like, man, this guy looks cool.
Yeah.
Read through like 6 cards and I was like, this guy's it.
That's the one. Cool. Thanks for sharing.
Anyway, there it is.
See ya. Thank you for watching this week's episode of the 5G Podcast.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see more.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks.